All right, so we've been talking about diving into this financial freedom thing for a while, and
Hmm.
we finally got a chance to dig into Grant Sabatier's financial freedom blueprint.
Yeah.
And honestly, like the idea of like hitting that milestone in just 5 years, it's
It's pretty wild.
it's exciting and intimidating at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like where do we even begin with this?
Well, it's interesting because Sabatier doesn't start with like spreadsheets
Yeah,
or,
right.
budgeting apps or anything like that.
Right.
He actually starts with talking about a mindset shift.
Okay.
And he really emphasizes that the most important thing is seeing money not as something that you're like chasing or stressing over,
Yeah.
but as like a tool to unlock the life that you want.
Okay, so less about stressing over like every penny
Yeah,
and more about like kind of seeing that bigger picture.
exactly.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
But how do you actually bridge that gap between like mindset and, actually making it happen?
Yeah, so he talks a lot about this idea of aggressive saving,
Okay.
which might sound a little intense,
Yeah, it does.
but it's really about aligning your spending with your goals.
Okay.
So, imagine saving like 50% or more of your income.
Whoa.
That's where things start to get really interesting.
50%? I mean, I'm all for saving, but that's that's serious dedication.
Yeah.
Does he expect everyone to just like live on ramen noodles for 5 years straight?
No, not necessarily. He's
Oh,
not about like deprivation.
right.
He's more about like strategic reallocation.
Okay.
So he's really big on tracking like every dollar that you spend.
Okay.
Not to make you feel guilty, but to really understand like where your money's going.
Okay.
So once you have a good understanding of your spending habits, then you can start to redirect that money towards investments and building those passive income streams.
So it's more about being mindful and intentional, not like miserly.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
But what about those of us who maybe feel like our income just isn't enough to save that aggressively?
Yeah. That's a great question. And that's where Sabatier's concept of multiple income streams comes in.
Okay.
So he argues that relying solely on a traditional job kind of limits your earning potential and your control over your finances.
Right.
So instead of waiting for a raise or a promotion,
Yeah.
you're creating opportunities to boost your income on your own terms
Right.
through things like, side hustles or
Okay. The classic side hustle advice. But does he have anything like beyond just get a second job?
yeah, he goes beyond that.
Okay.
He talks about things like freelancing, consulting, creating and selling digital products,
Okay.
building online businesses.
So more specific things.
Yeah, it's really about leveraging your skills and interests to generate income beyond that traditional 9 to 5.
Okay, that's starting to feel more concrete.
Yeah.
So by aggressively saving and like creating multiple income streams, we're essentially kind of building this solid foundation
Yeah.
for financial freedom. But how does passive income fit into all of this? It always seems like this elusive concept that like only a select few achieve.
Yeah, it can seem that way, but Sabatier sees passive income as like a crucial piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
Not in like a get rich quick kind of way, but about like systematically designing income streams that work for you,
Right.
even when you're not actively working.
Right.
So he talks about things like dividend-paying stocks, real estate, and even like crowdfunding platforms.
Well, it's not about winning the lottery. It's more about like building this system that generates income without the constant hustle.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But like, how do you actually go about like building these passive income streams?
Well, he emphasizes starting small and scaling gradually.
Okay.
So it's about reinvesting your earnings to
Okay.
kind of accelerate that growth and reaching a point where that passive income can actually cover your living expenses.
So imagine like waking up every day and knowing that like your basic needs are met
Exactly.
just from that.
That's the kind of freedom he's talking about.
That's a powerful image.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got the mindset we're saving aggressively.
All right.
We're building multiple income streams and we're working towards this passive income.
Yeah.
But what about investing? Like, where does that fit into his 5-year plan?
Yeah. So Sabatier is a huge proponent of smart investing.
Okay.
He dedicates a big chunk of the book to talking about the magic of compounding,
Okay.
which is basically how starting early, even with small amounts, can like snowball into significant wealth over time.
Right.
He's not about risky stock picks or get-rich-quick schemes.
Okay.
He really emphasizes the power of consistency and patience.
So it's kind of like slow and steady wins the race.
Exactly.
But the investment world can feel incredibly overwhelming,
Yeah,
especially for someone who's not like a financial expert.
right.
What kind of advice does he offer?
So he's all about demystifying investing.
Oh, okay.
He suggests starting with low-cost index funds
Okay.
that basically track the overall market performance. He argues that it's a more reliable strategy than trying to pick individual stocks,
Okay.
especially for beginners.
So instead of like gambling on specific companies,
Yeah,
you're basically betting on the overall growth of the market.
exactly, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But isn't it kind of risky to put all your eggs in one basket, even if it's like a diversified basket like the stock market?
Well, he emphasizes diversification
Right.
across different asset classes.
Okay.
So it's not just about stocks.
Right.
He talks about real estate alternative investments and even exploring things like crowdfunding opportunities to spread your risk and maximize your potential returns.
So diversification, I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah,
It seems like his approach is all about building the strong and resilient financial foundation.
absolutely.
But one thing I'm curious about is the distinction he makes between like financial freedom and time freedom.
Yeah,
Are they really that different?
yeah, that's a great point.
Okay.
So financial freedom is about having enough wealth to cover your expenses
Right.
without relying on a traditional job.
Okay.
But time freedom takes it a step further.
Okay.
It's about having the flexibility and control to choose how you spend your time
Okay.
without being chained to work obligations.
So it's like having the resources to pursue your passions, travel, spend time with loved ones, or even just relax without worrying about work.
Exactly.
That sounds like true freedom to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he ties this back to living below your means and embracing a kind of minimalist approach.
Okay.
It's not about deprivation, but about prioritizing experiences and fulfillment over material possession.
So it's not just about like accumulating wealth. It's about designing a life that reflects your values and aspirations.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic. Even with the best plan, there are going to be challenges along the way, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So what does he say about like navigating those inevitable bumps in the road?
Well, he definitely acknowledges that the path to financial freedom isn't always smooth sailing.
Right.
And he talks about the importance of having a solid emergency fund
Okay.
to kind of cushion the blow of unexpected events.
So it's like having a safety net to catch you if you stumble.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But what about those times when things don't go according to plan, even with an emergency fund?
Well, he emphasizes adaptability.
Right.
Sometimes the best laid plans need to be adjusted.
Right.
So being willing to kind of reevaluate your strategies, explore new opportunities, and remain flexible is really key.
Flexibility seems like a crucial skill in any area of life,
Yeah,
especially finances.
for sure.
But Sabatier is famous for his 5-year plan, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Does he offer any like specific steps to make this ambitious goal a reality?
Absolutely. He lays out a clear roadmap with 5 key steps to reach financial freedom within that time frame.
Okay.
The first step is establishing your financial baseline,
Okay.
which is basically understanding where you stand right now.
So it's like taking inventory before you embark on this big adventure.
Exactly. It's about assessing your income, your expenses, your debts and assets to get a clear picture of your starting point.
Okay.
Once you have that foundation, you can move on to step 2, which is all about aggressively cutting back on non-essential spending
Okay.
and maximizing your savings rate.
So it's not about deprivation. It's about making conscious choices
Exactly.
to align your spending with your long-term goals.
Exactly.
And as you start freeing up more money, step 3 kicks in,
Yeah.
creating those multiple streams of income that we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
This is where we get to leverage our skills, explore different opportunities, and really get creative right.
Absolutely. And as you start generating more income, step 4 comes into play.
Okay.
Investing wisely to accelerate your wealth growth.
Okay.
Remember those low-cost index funds and diversification strategies we discussed?
Yep. Starting to see how it all connects.
Yeah.
So it's about putting your money to work for you instead of letting it sit idle.
Exactly. And finally, step 5 focuses on tracking your progress regularly and staying focused on your goals. So it's about reviewing your budget, your investments, and your overall financial plan to make sure you're on track.
It's like checking your map and your compass regularly to make sure you're still headed in the right direction.
Exactly.
But 5 years is still a really ambitious time frame.
Yeah.
Is it really achievable for everyone?
That's a great question and one we can explore further.
Okay.
After a quick break, stay with us.
So achieving financial freedom in 5 years is definitely an ambitious goal.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be the right fit for everyone.
Right.
But what makes Sabatier's approach so compelling is that it's not just about like hitting a certain number in your bank account.
Right.
It's about using that financial freedom as a tool to design a life that aligns with like your values and aspirations.
Yeah, so it's not about retiring early and like sitting on a beach somewhere.
Right.
Although that doesn't sound too bad.
It could be part of it.
Yeah, it could be, but it's more about having the financial resources and flexibility to pursue your passions and live life on your own terms. Exactly, and he challenges us to think beyond that traditional concept of retirement
Okay.
and consider what we would truly want to spend our time doing if money weren't a limiting factor.
Right.
What would your ideal day look like if you didn't have to worry about work or bills?
That's a that's a thought-provoking question.
Yeah.
It really gets you thinking about
Yeah.
what truly matters.
Yeah.
But honestly, one of the things I struggle with is this idea of like mindful spending. It
Yeah.
always sounds a bit restrictive.
Right.
Like I have to deny myself all the little joys in life
Yeah.
to reach my financial goals.
Yeah.
How does Sabatier approach this concept without making it feel like a constant sacrifice?
Yeah, so he's not advocating for like deprivation or anything like that.
Okay.
He's more about being intentional with your money
Okay.
and aligning your spending with your values.
Okay.
And instead of like mindlessly swiping your credit card,
Right.
he encourages you to pause and ask yourself, does this purchase truly bring me joy or value, or am I just spending out of habit or impulse?
So it's not about cutting out all the fun. It's about making sure your spending is aligned with your priorities.
Exactly.
It's about making conscious choices that support your long-term goals.
Right.
Rather than just fleeting moments of satisfaction.
Exactly. And a big part of that is shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance.
Oh,
So instead of focusing on what you lack, you start to see the opportunities and possibilities that are all around you.
that's a really interesting concept.
Yeah.
It's about believing that there are enough resources and opportunities for everyone to succeed.
Exactly.
But how do you actually cultivate that kind of mindset?
Yeah.
It's easy to say think positively,
Right.
but it's much harder to put it into practice.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when you're facing financial challenges.
Absolutely. So Sabatier suggests surrounding yourself with positive influences,
Okay.
seeking out mentors who have achieved financial success,
Right.
and focusing on personal growth. It's about embracing a growth mindset where challenges are seen as opportunities for learning and development.
So it's about believing in yourself and your potential to create a life of financial freedom.
Exactly.
It's about shifting your focus from, I can't afford that, to how can I make that happen?
Yeah,
It's a powerful shift in perspective.
it is. And once you have that mindset shift, it's all about taking action.
Right.
He provides a clear roadmap, starting with defining your financial goals,
Okay.
creating a budget,
Right.
identifying areas where you can reduce expenses,
Okay.
and exploring those income-generating opportunities we discussed earlier.
It's about moving from like dreaming about financial freedom to actually taking concrete steps to make it a reality.
Exactly.
But one thing I've always wondered about is how to balance risk and security when it comes to
Yeah.
investing.
Right.
I want to grow my money,
Yeah.
but I also don't want to lose it all in some risky venture.
Right.
What's Sabatier's take on this?
He acknowledges that risk is an inherent part of investing, but he emphasizes the importance of calculated risks.
Okay.
So it's about doing your research,
Right.
understanding the potential downsides,
Well-
and not putting all your eggs in one basket.
So diversification is key.
Exactly. Spread your investments across different asset classes to minimize risk and maximize potential returns.
Okay. And he also encourages a long-term perspective, right?
Yeah.
Instead of trying to time the market or chase quick profits,
Exactly.
he advocates for a buy and hold strategy, particularly with index funds.
Exactly.
So it's about riding out those inevitable market fluctuations
Right.
and focusing on that steady growth over time.
Exactly. Which takes patience.
It does. It does. But one thing I'm curious about is his emphasis on investing in yourself.
Yeah.
How does that fit into the overall picture of financial freedom?
Well, he sees it as a crucial investment, not an expense.
Okay.
And he argues that the returns on investing in yourself
Yeah.
often outweigh the returns on traditional investments.
That's an interesting way to look at it. So it's about investing in your education skills development and personal growth
Exactly.
as a way to increase your earning potential and open up new opportunities.
Exactly. He encourages you to think about what skills or knowledge you could acquire that would allow you to command a higher salary,
Right.
start your own business,
Okay.
or pursue a passion project that could potentially generate income.
It's about taking a proactive approach
Exactly.
to your career and your finances and recognizing that you have the power to shape your own future.
Exactly. It's about investing in your most valuable asset?
Yourself.
Yourself.
Ex-
Exactly.
That's such a powerful message.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, the path to financial freedom is not always going to be easy.
Right.
There will be setbacks, challenges, moments of doubt.
Absolutely.
How does Sabatier address that kind of emotional side of this journey?
Well, he emphasizes the importance of patience and perseverance.
Okay.
He acknowledges that achieving financial freedom in 5 years is a bold goal, and it requires dedication, discipline, and a willingness to stick with the plan,
Okay.
even when faced with challenges or setbacks.
So it's not a quick fix or a magic formula.
No.
It's about building a sustainable lifestyle and a mindset
Exactly.
that supports that long-term financial well-being.
Exactly. And he also reminds us that the journey itself can be incredibly rewarding.
Okay.
It's not just about the financial outcome,
Right.
but about the personal growth,
Yeah.
the sense of empowerment, and the freedom that comes with taking control of your finances and designing a life that aligns with your values and aspirations.
It's about the sense of accomplishment and the knowledge that you are in the driver's seat of your own life.
Exactly.
Okay, from feeling inspired.
Good.
But I'm also wondering how to translate all this great advice into concrete action.
Yeah.
What are some practical steps that our listeners can take right now
Right.
to start moving towards their financial freedom goals?
That's a great question and one we can delve into further after a short break. Stay tuned.
Okay, so we're back and ready to get into like some more practical steps.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about Sabatier's like philosophy and his 5-year plan, but I think I'm ready to hear some more like actionable advice.
Right.
Where do we even begin?
Well, he really emphasizes that action is key.
Right.
It's not enough to just read about financial freedom.
Yeah.
You have to actually implement these strategies.
Right.
And the best place to start is with step 1 of his 5-year plan, which is establishing your financial baseline.
Right, like taking that financial inventory.
Exactly.
But for someone who's maybe feeling overwhelmed or intimidated by this whole process,
Yeah.
where would you suggest they even begin?
So a simple but really powerful first step is to track your income and expenses for a month.
Okay.
There are tons of apps and spreadsheets out there that can help you do this.
Yeah.
And once you have a clear picture of where your money is going, then you can start identifying areas where you can potentially reduce spending.
So it's about awareness first and then action. I think a lot of people avoid looking at their finances too closely because it can be scary.
Right.
But it sounds like that's actually the most important first step.
Absolutely. And once you have that awareness, then you can move on to step 2, which is maximizing your savings rate.
Okay.
Remember Sabatier's suggestion of aiming for 50% or more?
Yeah, that's a big number.
It is.
But you mentioned it's not about deprivation. It's about strategic reallocation.
Right.
Can you give us some like examples of how someone might be able to shift their spending to reach that savings goal?
Sure. So it might involve like cooking at home more often instead of eating out,
Right?
finding creative ways to reduce your housing expenses,
Gotcha.
or negotiating lower rates on your bills.
Okay.
Sabatier also talks about automating your savings
Right.
so that a portion of your income is automatically transferred to a savings or investment account each month.
Automation. That's a great tip.
Yeah.
Takes the decision making out of it.
Right.
Makes it a consistent habit.
Ex-
But what about those of us who are already living pretty frugally and still feel like we're not making much headway?
Yeah. And that's where step 3 comes in.
Okay.
Creating those multiple income streams.
Right.
This is where you really get to tap into your skills, passions, and interests to generate income beyond your primary job.
Right. Those side hustles we talked about.
Exactly.
But I think it can be really daunting for people to figure out where to start.
Yeah.
Any suggestions for brainstorming potential income streams?
So Sabatier suggests starting with what you already know and enjoy.
Oh,
What are you good at?
right.
What do you like to do in your free time?
Yeah.
Maybe you can turn a hobby into a side business,
Right.
offer freelance services,
Okay.
or create and sell online courses.
It's about turning your passion into profit.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
But once you start generating that extra income,
Right.
what should you do with it?
That brings us to step 4, investing wisely.
Okay.
He recommends starting with those low-cost index funds
Right.
as a way to passively grow your wealth over time,
Okay.
and also stressing the importance of diversification,
Right.
spreading your investments across different asset classes to minimize that risk.
So it's not about trying to time the market or pick individual stocks.
Right.
It's about taking that long-term, consistent approach
Exactly.
to investing.
Exactly. And as you continue to save and invest, It's crucial to track your progress, which is step 5 of his plan.
Okay.
This involves regularly reviewing your budget, your investments, and your overall financial plan
Okay.
to make sure you're on track to reach those goals.
So it's like checking in with yourself,
Exactly.
making adjustments as needed along the way.
Exactly. But throughout this whole process, it seems like mindset is really the foundation for everything else.
Yeah, I think so too.
Absolutely. Sabatier emphasizes that financial freedom is not just about the numbers. It's about having that right mindset.
Right.
It's about believing in yourself, your potential, and your ability to create the life that you desire.
Shifting from that scarcity mindset
Exactly.
to an abundance mindset,
Yeah,
focusing on the opportunities rather than the limitations,
right.
and believing that you have the power to shape your own financial future.
Exactly. And that's a really powerful message for all of us.
Yeah, it is. And while Sabatier's 5-year plan is like a great framework,
Yeah,
it's important to remember that it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
right.
The most important takeaway is to find what works best for you,
Exactly.
your individual circumstances, and your goals.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the financial freedom blueprint,
Yeah.
I want to leave our listeners with this question.
Okay.
If time and money were no object way, what would you truly want to spend your life doing?
Yeah. Let that question guide your journey towards financial freedom.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, it's not just about the money.
Right.
It's about the freedom to live a life that is aligned with your values, your passions, and your dreams.
And we believe you have the power to make that happen.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.